If any man willeth to do his will. In John chapter 7 verse 17, if anyone's will is to do God's will, he will know whether the teaching is from God or whether I was speaking on my own authority. Our Lord is not so much laying down the principle that obedience is the gateway to knowledge, as specifically stating that the only way to know whether or not His teaching is of God is conditioned by obedience. The only way to know is to will, to do His will. Think. The only way to progress in spiritual matters is to think voluntarily. A great amount of stuff we call thinking is not thinking, but merely reverie or meditation. Thinking is a voluntary effort, and in the initial stages, it is never easy. Voluntary effort must be made to keep the mind on some particular line. The teaching of some of the higher Christian life movements is apt to put thinking out of it altogether. According to that teaching, we have to be semi-swooning invalids in the power of God, letting the Spirit of God to take us as much as driftwood, and all our impulses and dreams are taken to be the will of God. When we become spiritual, we have to exercise the power of thinking to a greater degree than ever before. We starve our mind as Christians by not thinking. If we are going to succeed in the natural world, we must think voluntarily about things. And it is the same in the spiritual world. In order to think, we must stop dust gathering and check our impulses and set the mind on a straight line. Habit is a mechanical process of which we have ceased to become conscious. The basis of habit is always physical. A habit forms a pathway in the material stuff of the brain. And as we persist in thinking along a certain line, we hand over a tremendous amount of the machine and do things without thinking. Habits become second nature. For instance, when we begin to use a muscle in a particular way, it hurts badly. But if we keep on using that muscle judiciously, it will get beyond hurting until you are able to use it with mechanical precision. The same is true in regards to thinking. It's a difficult matter to begin with. If thinking gives you a headache, it is a sign that you have brains. The brain is not ethereal or mystical. It is purely a machine. The thing that is not mechanical is the power of personality, which we call thought. At first we find our brains do not work well. We go in jerks. We are bothered with associated ideas. But as we persist in thinking along a particular line, our brains become the ally of our personality. Not only in our body capable of becoming our best friend, but the places where the body has become used to thinking become a strong assistance also. We infect the places we live in by our ruling habit. If we have made our body the ally of our personality, everything works together to aid our body wherever it is placed. People complain about their circumstances because they have not begun to make their body an ally to their spiritual journey.